Hey guys, it's Jonah here. I'm back with another beer review, and we are revisiting the southwest of this fine country of ours, because there was a Beer 52 box, which is a bit bizarre considering I think they released that one in November, if I'm right. And have a look at that. It's not very seasonal, is it? That looks like a spring or summer day, or perhaps an early autumn day, which is cool. Look at these, the alliums down there. Don't know about you, but my alliums have already kind of sprouted their leaves. There are no flowers on there, obviously, not till about May alliums. But yeah, they're around, for a while. But I would say, yeah, a spring kind of thing. Definitely not an autumn thing. The other thing that I noticed was the beer we are doing today is from Bath Ales, which Bath is there, but I can't see Bath Ales anywhere on the map, as it were. There are lots of other things on there, which is pretty cool. Mainly based around Bristol, around there, or Bristle, as we say. Um, Bath Ales, not on the map, which is a bit weird, but never mind, because that is the beer I have decided to do today. And after that, I think there's only one left that I need to do out of the box. And I have a new box arriving. It's going to be the Yorkshire box, and that's arriving maybe tomorrow, but maybe Saturday. We'll see what happens. And if it does arrive tomorrow, I will do the unboxing then. If it arrives on Saturday, you will have to wait, dear viewer. Um, and yes, I have had some beers already. I'm 3 beers in already, so sometimes this makes the best kind of video, because I'm a bit more enthused because I've had my beer quota already. But you'll see why. Perhaps I've done that in a minute. Anyway, this is the beer we're doing. Monterey, Bath Ales from Walmsley, which, as I said, is just south of Bath. Um, and it's a California Pale Ale, and it's 3.9. It's quite a kind of weak one. And I'm glad they've called it a Pale Ale and not some ridiculous session IPA. But yeah, Californian. Monterey is a California Pale Ale. It's bursting with pine and tropical notes, forged from 3 American hops, which, whoops, if I get my hand, you can see down here, Willamette, Cascade, Simcoe, Citra. There we go. 3 out of those are, yeah, are from California, apparently. Although I would say maybe more like from Washington, but never mind. Washington State, that is, not Washington DC. This refreshing, flavorful, and sessionable beer is golden as the sands of Monterey Bay and equally satisfying. Now, look at that. The spider diagram does not look like one we have seen for a while. Bitter. It's a pale ale, but it's bitter. Very hoppy, very fruity. A little bit sweet, bit of mouthfeel, bit of maltiness. And it's not very sour, which is quite interesting. And I do actually like the look of the can too. Usually Bath ales are in bottles, so it's interesting seeing this beer in a can. And look at that graphic. It is almost like a classic kind of back to the 70s. It's a bit out of focus. There we go. That's more like it. It's like a 70s or 80s thing. Obviously, in the middle there, you've got the Bath Ales moniker from 1995. But it looks like a sun. Either I would say that's a rising sun, as opposed to a setting sun, over some sort of period of water. We're thinking California, then that's the Pacific Ocean, obviously. And here we go. Full of tropical notes, this pale ale was born but not raised in the US of A. Thanks to its 3 American sourced hops, It's easygoing, easy drinking, and destined for long, lazy afternoons. A taste which will transport you to the sun-drenched Monterey Bay. Well, almost, it says. We've got a few oats in there, in addition to the normal barley, hops, and yeast, and obviously water, of course. We've got a Spanish one. Maybe that's a Californian kind of influence too. Bath Ales and Walmsley BS30 over here in the UK. The UK Chief Medical Officer. So that's a kind of copy of the American kind of nonsense. The Surgeon General tells you don't smoke. 3.9% on the ABV. And I have had this. My God, I've had this in the fridge for a long time. And if you can see, the can is quite squidgy. So that means I have got no fear that this is going to explode everywhere, which it hasn't done, which is absolutely fandabidosi. There we go. There's the old flute. Now, let me try and coax some head out of this bad boy. So I'm going for an aggressive pour and an SJ pour. Shame on to you, brother. There we go. Can I do one of these things with this one? Not easily. Let me just do one of these. Monterey. Keep it nice and simple because I've had a few beers and it will all go pear-shaped if I don't. Okay, so over a finger's head, but I did force the head a little bit. It is mighty nice and clear. You can see my handsome visage through. Look, there's even some beardage through that bad boy. And look at that foam. It's perfectly white. Lovely, lovely, large carbonation bubbles and some more forming underneath, but not much. Smells a little bit minty, but very lightly so. And not much of a giveaway from the aroma. Which actually, no, it said it was quite hoppy. So maybe they put a lot of hops into the initial boil, and maybe not so many into secondary dry hop whirlpool, wherever you put your hops afterwards, which will give aroma. So maybe this is a more old school beer when we didn't worry so much about obscene tropical flavours, which is all the rage these days, especially with pale ales of all descriptions. Let's dive in, dear viewer. Cheers and beers to you. Oh, could I ask you a favour? If you're watching and we haven't drunk any and we're over 8 minutes, if you do like this video by the end, please click like. It really does make a difference. People watching my videos, thank you, but they're not clicking like. And that hurts my feelings because basically it says you don't like my video. So if you do, please say you like it. Oh, that's nice. That is quite heavily hopped. I don't think. No, they haven't said what the IBUs on this bad boy is, but I'd say that's probably sort of 30 over, which is kind of unheard of for this modern day, because everyone chucks their hops in. Well, not everyone, because these guys haven't, but a lot of people chuck their hops in late, and then it doesn't affect the bitterness. This is reasonably bitter at the end, but it's quite a nice, crisp, clean finish, although the bitterness does hang around a little bit in the aftertaste. There is a little bit of juiciness. You can taste a little bit of fruit in there, but it's not as pronounced thanks to the kind of, yeah, the hot bitterness. We have also got a bit of a line going on there, which is from the oats, I imagine. Always nice to see for me. Now, what usually happens with the second sip is my taste buds have adjusted. They fired all their receptors. Look up how your taste buds work. It is fantastic. But they fired off their receptors, their neurons, if you like, have fired, gone up to my brain, and they're kind of refreshing now. So my second sip is not going to be as bitter, or at least that's my prediction anyway. Let's see what happens. Yes, that's exactly what happened. Not so, not so bitter. A little bit kind of more watery, a bit more juicy. So it's cleared my palate a little bit, but maybe that's my perception because of the way all of our taste buds work, which is really interesting to me. I did science at school. I did science at university as well, but haven't really used it since then. But it's really interesting the way your body reacts to certain stimuli. Really, really interesting subject. I'm getting a kind of more malty taste now, which is weird because this wasn't supposed to be a malty bad boy. Um, hmm, nice. It's a little bit more watery. The oats are in there as well. I was going to say a little bit of malty backbone, but the oats are in there too. Ooh, good carbonation. And look, I have even created a more straight, a fatter, a selfish line. But that mint is still there. It's kind of present. Hmm. Let me check the hops again because I'm not 100% sure. What is happening? What an unprofessional beer reviewer. I'm only joking. I am a legend in my own lunchtime, especially on those rare occasions that I manage to go to the pub at lunch. What am I doing? Oh, I picked up the wrong book. Dear viewer, I apologise. You see what happens when this is my fourth beer of the evening. It all goes a bit pear-shaped. But I try and record these things live. So, Willamette, Cascade, Simcoe, and Citra. It must be the Willamette. I mean, it is a green kind of mint kind of thing going on. It's not mints like peppermint or, spearmint. It's not an actual commercial mint. It's more of a kind of suggestion of mint, a very, very mild mint. And it's a mint that tastes a little bit green as well. So it's kind of like, yeah, it's weird. It's something green and minty. So that's the Willamette. It must be. Because Cascade, I know, Citra, obviously, most common hop in the world, like I've said many times. And Simcoe, for me, always has a sort of bit of an orangey kind of juicy fruit kind of thing going on. Very interesting, dear viewer. Let's finish this off. We're getting up to 15 minutes, and it shouldn't take me that long to drink these things, but I end up talking because I'm passionate about beer. That's what it is. And if you're passionate about beer, why not think about becoming a subscriber? Click down below. You will not regret it because at the very least, you get me waxing lyrical to you guys. And a lot of the time, I'm sitting up here in the spare room by myself and I'm talking to you guys. What can I say? Cheers. And yet again, slightly different, little bit of juiciness, got that green, minty kind of high note. It's white. I don't know why I'm thinking white, um, white fruits. But it's quite a light. This is a pale ale. It is a very pale ale, 3.9. Unheard of in today's market. Used to be all the rage back when I were a lad. Used to be a lot of 3% beers around. You don't find many of them anymore. They tend to be slightly stronger and mild, which also used to be around, and dark and mild, which yeah, black and tan and all that sort of weird stuff going on, like mixes. You could have cocktails of beer in the pub, especially if it was a Young's pub. They used to do all these weird mixtures and stuff, which was fantastic. But this beer is very, very light. I have been to California in America before, was a while ago, a fair few moons ago, but I can kind of see what they're getting at here. It is that taste of summer, that taste of the sea, a little bit of greenery with sea air and seagulls. I can hear them, but that's because I live by the sea. There are blooming seagulls round here all over the shop. Big old fuckers they are as well. Anyway, dear viewer, thank you for letting me into your house. It is a school night. It is Thursday after all. Please come and join me for more beer reviews. And until then, please take care of yourself, take care of each other, and remember, drink some beer.